We don't need someone to come along and tell us how to live in our community. We've got to make a peaceful, honest, honourable stand to the best of our ability to stop this going on.
And now, please welcome the Darkcity Radio Resistance News Crew.
Welcome to this week's Resistance News, everyone. Glad you could join us. We're talking about, I think Bob called it an Earth First gathering, which is up at Ashton, sorted out, I think, by the Ashton allotment people. If you want to get on and talk to us about this, please do. You can Skype us on Bob's Backyard, or UK landline us on 0161 298 0298, or of course if you're overseas, +44 161 298 0298. Luckily we've got Paul in the room, who's been up at the little gathering that's happening up there and has been there for a few days, so has greeted everyone as they've been arriving. And perhaps, Paul, you'd be kind enough to run through how it looks like, well, what it looks like up there for you.
Yeah, sure, Bob, sure. Just my apologies to people who've been listening to the first part of the show for the audio being very quiet. My mistake. I did it. It was my fault. Ashton allotment action. Yes, we've put it out there. A few people have come forward. We got promotional video done. We've pushed it a little bit here on Darkcity. We have been trying to get this story out for a number of years, Bob, as you know. 3 years now we've been in occupation of the land, which we occupied with fruit and vegetables. It's completely confused the council. You can't serve papers on fruit and vegetables. And lo and behold, they didn't do anything. It was after the fact then where we actually found out about the illegal tip, which is hundreds of millions, if not billions, of tons of waste, which was no tipping charges. Now this means basically nobody knows. No one knows what's in there. We do know there is low level, and I stress low level chemical waste, but what else is there, we do not know. We really do not know. So the allotment site is a part of this area. We are quite fully aware. We're digging on 2 foot of topsoil, 18 inches, maybe a foot in some cases, where we are finding general buildings, rubbles, waste, asbestos, blue billy, and the numerous other objects that you would not get from backfill from a motorway.
So presumably this landfill site's not even been capped over or anything?
Oh yes. When we first started, the actual site we're on was laid out, topsoiled, and made off as an allotment site. That's some 12 years ago now. The local council pretty much denied all knowledge of this, saying it didn't exist. I met up with Nigel Rowlands, who was at the time, not now, but at the time the motorway went through, he was actually on the council. He was a councillor, and this has been kept from him. He remembers this. You know, he was on the council when the provision was made to reinstate allotments for Ashton-under-Lyne. These allotments aren't in Ashton-under-Lyne. The provision was made, and they're actually in the next area of Droylsden. Still to this day, there is no provision at all made for any allotments in Ashton-under-Lyne, and we do know there is well. I think it's over 75% of the actual entire waiting list is waiting for Ashton-under-Lyne, for allotments in Ashton-under-Lyne. There is a definite need for this. Of course, we can't be really certain on all the figures. I'd just like to say hello to Brian, if you're out there, Brian. I found out the other day you're still alive. That was brilliant news. He's number 10 on the list for allotments up there at Ashton-under-Lyne. I'm 11 and 12. So I thought I'd moved up, Brian, but I'd sooner move back down one on the list, and no, you're still with us, bro. And again, that man, he also gave up his allotment on provision to move up there with me and a few others. Like I say, that's over 12 years ago now, Bob.
That's just unbelievable, isn't it? That it's, given that there's a council mandate to make a provision, that they've done absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they have to, you see. But what they haven't, really, it's a smokescreen, Bob. The reason why we've been able to do this for 3 years, we've had the BBC up there, they never covered anything about the council corruption, never touched it, none of it, although we can prove it irrefutably, there is no tipping charge, there is no tipping licences ever issued, therefore it's illegal tipping. There's no ifs, ands and buts, and that's how it is. They've done that. They try to make out it's an oversight. Yeah, an oversight. You could put anything you wanted in there and not tell anybody. Yeah, a very profitable oversight. At £45 a tonne, that's what people were paying to dispose of their waste on that site. So this is not just about, we're just going to do... No, this was a massive money-making object. Remember, £45 English sterling per tonne. There are hundreds of millions, if not billions of tons. This is not a small area. I can't even begin to estimate how much the total value was made out of this illegal landfill site. That's what it is. It's a landfill. So, what to do? We've stayed in occupation. We've had many people come up to this site, Bob. We really have. And this is one of the main reasons why Darkcity Radio actually exists. Because no one would touch the story. The national press won't touch it. The police won't get involved. The courts, nobody's interested. Nobody will touch this. Nobody. Okay, I know there's people out there and will have the suspicions. You don't have to have suspicions. Go and have a look at the names on the Masonic roll at Ashton Underline. Just go and have a look at them. You'll find that these people are all interlinked together. Now, I'm not saying there's some kind of Masonic conspiracy going on here. No, I'm not. It's not a conspiracy. It can't be a conspiracy because it's hard cold facts. These individuals all know one another and they're doing deals. Like I say, I'm not blaming the Masons for it, but it is going on, you see, and these people are connected within that ridiculous boys club. So yeah, we took the land, we've gone up there, we've done quite a few. I'm really proud, really. This year we have kind of had we've had people coming up there who know what they're doing. That really helps, and it's a good year. We had good weather yesterday. The weather wasn't bad today, but more people have turned up. There's about, 20 people there or something now. Maybe a dozen tents. What I did mention about the police coming, we'd actually instructed the police, as we have before. That's not our problem. They should be dealing with the council. They're trying to say it's a civil matter. This police officer came on and told us they needed an on-site contact phone number. Now, this policeman spoke to about 5 people before he gets to me, Bob, and insisting on I need an on-site. I said, you've got a contact. Nigel Rowlands is your contact. And he says, yes, we know, but we need somebody on site. And you can't have one. We haven't got one. We don't use phones. We haven't got any phones. And we have got no... I said, we can give you radio communication on site. But he didn't bite to that one. And then I had to point out to him, he said, well, this is what they've told me to come and do. I said, well, look, before you can come here and ask us and request something of us, wouldn't it just be nice for you to actually, or at least your authority, to pass on our request to you? I said, and that's not... Everyone's welcome on this piece of land, but you do not bring weapons. You're not welcome on this piece of land with weapons. And he immediately pointed at Chris Sparky, who got a small machete, not a full-size machete, a little tiny army machete, which he'd been using to chop a bit of wood to get the fire going, and cutting around the grassed area where we lit the fire, just, health and safety. And he immediately pointed it and he said, he's got a weapon. I said, no, he's got a tool. That's a tool for doing a job. It's been used for chopping wood and so forth. And that's a tool. What are you carrying those for? He said, my personal protection. I said, could we then conclude that they are weapons? He said, well, I'm not coming here asking you for anything, and that over there is a civil matter.
Hang on, were you talking about his CS gas spray and stuff like that?
Yeah, weapons.
Yeah, no,
His
but when
extendable
you said, why are you carrying those?
Yes, his weapons. He said they were, well, I said you are carrying weapons. He tried to dispute that they were weapons and called them personal items of personal defence.
Well, yeah, that's quibbling over something, isn't it? Because clearly they are weapons. You only use them to damage other people.
Well, if I walk down the street with a tin of CS gas and an extendable riot ban, I'll be carrying weapons.
Yeah, they'd hoik you off.
Well, everyone's treated equal on common land, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he had come on there under a misapprehension, that he had some kind of authority to make some kind of demands over us. So basically I pointed this out until he wasn't, you know, oh, excuse me, then he tried to say there may be some complaint. We pointed him out there was only one neighbour and he was actually a member of the Ashton Allotment Action Group, so I don't think we're going to be getting complaints from the gentleman you've just seen helping us carry water onto site from his tap. So, yeah, it was, again, I am sure he's a right nice chap, but he'd been put into an awkward position by not being informed by his authority. Of course, Bob, I had actually told the police I expected 100,000 people plus, and the memo went out to Greater Manchester to police that Ashton-under-Lyne was having the next Woodstock. So when they came up, they did contact Nigel, and Nigel said it could be anything between 15 people and 15,000 people. But they haven't bothered us again, and the police didn't come back again, but then they turned up in a helicopter and circled us today. And we're talking 20 people, no more, and maybe a dozen tents in the middle of a field, which nobody's interested in at all. Now, was it cost them £20,000 to put that helicopter up in the air? So £2,000 worth of taxpayers' money because they don't want to communicate. They don't want to communicate with us. They can't communicate with us, only under their demand. And we've already said to them, if you want to communicate with us, come down here with representatives of the council, and then you can arrest them.
Well, surely the arrangement with police is that you call them if you need them.
Well, I did actually point that out, that we knew where they were and we could get hold of them if they were required.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And apart from that, what else are they doing there if there's not been a complaint?
Looking for trouble.
They've got no reason to be there.
He was looking for trouble. That's what he was doing. He was quite funny at one point. He said, "Are you having a fire?" And we all went, "Yes." And, you know, before he even got there, "Oh, well, you can't. Yes, we're having a fire. What's it got to do with you? On your way." Like I say, but I wasn't taking it, me, Bob. I took it so far, but, you know, no. That's not how it is. You're not coming on here and making demands of us and then denying you've made a demand of us. You know, he came on and asked, requested something of us. He asked us for something. Is he going to pay us? You know, he's getting paid. You know,
well,
we ask him to do something, and he can't do anything because if he reports it to his superiors about the illegal landfill site, they refuse to do anything, Bob. That's criminal. It's fraud and deception. That's a criminal activity. The council know this is going on. They know all about it. The local MP knows about it. He won't speak out for fear of his life. The police should be investigating this, Bob. There's no ifs, ands and buts about it. This is a police issue, and the police in Tameside, Ashton-under-Lyne, are refusing to do anything. They even make out they don't know about it every time we see them. It's been reported. No. And in fact, please, if you are tuned in at the moment, ring Ashton-under-Lyne Police Station and report the illegal tip on Ashton Moss, because they think we are lunatics. You know, the National Allotment Associations give us backing. I mean, we've been backed as far as the allotment side of it's concerned by all the other corporate media streams. However, they didn't cover the real story, of course, because, again, their superiors would not allow them to. So, yeah, what do we do? What is the purpose of what you would call direct action, Bob, or your resistance? This is what we've done. We've planted fruits and vegetables. We've got people up there now who are teaching other people about permaculture. That's going on as I'm actually speaking. I've learnt about cakes and this champagne stuff they've made out of summer and this woodruff other thing. I'm learning stuff, Bob. That's what happens. They assault, they attack, they do nothing, we learn, we get stronger and we get better.
Well, this is exactly what direct action and resistance is. It's not just saying no to something. It's about having a solution there and carrying the solution through. So, yeah, well done, you guys. This sounds really amazing. I understand that you've got Nairis there from Permaculture Show doing these plant workshops.
Oh, yes, Nairis has come up with a couple of her, must be 5 or 6 people have come up. We've got representatives from different countries. Yeah, it should be 100,000 people plus, Bob. It should be. This is common land here. Okay, yeah, it's hard work. You've got to dig. And, well, I haven't done a lot of work up there, actually. I've done more work running up and down and trying to sort out, camping equipment and things like that. I don't think I picked a spade or a shovel up all weekend. But yeah, it's not all about that. Like I say, Nairis turned up with cakes. That was brilliant. She's a bit. We've actually written in the secret, the very, very secret book in the vault of the Darkcity, and it says in the side of it, most excellent Nairis cakes. Just a heads up for you there. Excellent cakes. So yeah, with Nairis is up there, Chris Sparky's up there, Sue Dammer's up there. These are all from Darkcity. Sarah from the I Am Show, she's been up there all weekend. And loads of others, I forget. Oh, local anonymous representatives came over from Droylsden. They were great guys when the police came up. As I was saying, once this policeman started to get a little bit agitated because his authority was just silly, I went to get my camera, and as I brought the camera up, he looked at it, and one of the lads from Anonymous just said, "Oh, it's all right, I've been filming him since he arrived." At that point, he left. So yeah, the Anonymous.
Well, sounds like you've got an amazing crew there. I know that Chris is. I've been on actions with Chris before, and he is really, really practical. And what I know of everyone else that you've mentioned, I think that you've got to be having a really good weekend.
Oh yeah, without any doubt. We lost a couple of tents in the night. Saddam is not really kind of. He's good at collecting wood and digging toilets, but he can't put tents up. Put it like that. Everyone's got the skills, Bob. And Sudama's skill is not tent erection. So Sudama's tent was found some 500 yards away from where it had been put up when he actually, in the middle of the night, it must be 3 o'clock this morning or something, they went looking for the tents and they no longer existed. Chris Sparky's had turned into an indoor swimming pool. Dan, Linux Dan, also he's been up there with us this week. I let Dan use the tent of mine, which he didn't realise it had a secondary fly sheet that went over the top of it. So when Dan actually returned to his tent, it was a swimming pool, without any doubt at all. Very good tent though, I must say. It does hold water incredibly well. So yeah, really good tent. So yeah, we've had fun. Sarah's got an absolutely wonderful, this teepee type tent, but unfortunately they put the ground sheet in the wrong way and that nearly blew over in the night as well. So yeah, perhaps we do need a little bit more skill in the erection of tents, Bob. I think we might need somebody who can perhaps do a show on Darkcity and tell us all about tent erection. But yeah, it's been great. It's been a little bit windy and it was a little bit damp. But today, the sun's broke a few times for us, and those little moments, it was warm, and and there's people up there now digging the land, Bob, and that's what it's really about. It really is about that. It's about cleaning that land up and just showing it can be done. And there's so many people who are saying now they're trying to sell it. I mean, they are. One hand of the council is telling us that they're going to negotiate a lease and they'll get these allotments, and the other hand of it is already put it up for preliminary planning permission to build industrial units on the entire complex. Oh, of course, it was a lie that we'd ever get this, ever. No, that's how it was, Bob.
So this sort of, is it similar to the diggers' action of a couple of centuries ago?
Oh, we are the diggers, Bob.
Yeah.
People think that the diggers were all murdered and killed for their actions against the rich elite. And those rich elite were the landowners, of course. That's who we're actually fighting. The dead hand of the rich elite, of course. These aren't some corporate company. They're the family of the Grey, Lady Grey, Queen for a day. And the Grey family, are known as the Greys. They are not Ziricula Cretais from another far-off galaxy. These are the family now, which is quite large, and their estates here in the north of England are quite vast, through Stamford Estates and a few others. So yeah, that's basically the land was stolen through intellectual theft. And, by the council, by the local authority, and bought under compulsory purchase to make this wonderful thing that they've done by concrete and everything. And they say it's to create new jobs, Bob, and I've looked at this, and it hasn't created any new jobs at all in the area. In fact, the only jobs that were created in the area were replacement jobs from people outside the area. So we actually, at Manchester as a whole, let's say, lost jobs because of this. They didn't gain them. These businesses aren't new businesses. They are relocated businesses which now have to employ less staff rather than more, because these larger modern-day units are purpose-built for their requirements and so forth. So it's been a complete sham to the people. It really has. Sometimes, Bob, I think, there has been a few occasions where I wonder whether it's all worth it. But like I say, sitting down today, drinking a cup of tea, smoking a great big fat one, and eating a slice of lemon drizzle cake made by Nerys makes it all worthwhile, I'm telling you, mate. Simple things. So yeah, there's still time to join us if you are out there and you wanted to get involved, of course. It is a common land, it is free land. You go up there, do as you will. We do actually ask that you work under the proviso of no loss, no harm, no deception or breach of the peace. That's what we ask of. So, be respectful to the area. Just get that nature has somewhat taken this land back now. Not fully, of course, but the areas on the edge, which are, there are still small pockets of the surviving hedgerows, which is all but gone. And these are the last small nooks of it. We ask people to stay away from those. We've kind of designated a strip of land around the edge of it, so those hedge roses can be returned under their own steam back to, the nature corridor that they were. It does actually link onto the railway, which keeps that traffic, you could say, going. And we do have there are weasels on site, so there are quite a lot of nesting birds, and that's where we have to be a little bit careful. And so we always work out from the areas we've always worked from, so they get used to the interaction, and it gives the wildlife an opportunity to move rather than going in there and putting a rotavator or a strimmer over nesting birds' eggs. Just give them time. Walk the land first. Walk the land. So yeah, don't leave anything up there that you're not prepared to lose. It is a completely open site to all, so and don't chain anything to anything that's alive. Don't chain it to a tree, because people will kill the tree to get whatever it is you think is of value.
How long are you? Is this gathering going to be going on for, Paul?
The gathering finishes on October the 12th.
Oh, quite a while then.
No, I'm joking, Bob. We actually did it for the 3 days, so Saturday and Sunday. It's on Saturday and Sunday. People can stay over Sunday night if they like. In fact, they can stay longer if they want to. Like I say, it's common. It's a common land. It really is. Of course, it isn't about turning this into a campsite. I think it would be nice to have provisioned for a campsite on that. We have now extended the 250,000 square metres that we originally took into an area now approaching 1 million square metres. At least 750,000 square metres of land for the common. So it's quite big enough for us now, where there was room, I think, for 169 full-size of allotments at 10 by 25 metres. We could now do easily 3 times that amount. That would just about cover the waiting list of Ashton-under-Lyne. And just bear in mind, these allotments are not in Ashton-under-Lyne. They are in Droylsden. The Tameside Council, Tameside Metropolitan Council, Ashton-under-Lyne head offices have not made any provision at all for the people of Ashton-under-Lyne. There are a few little bits dotted allotments outside in the other wards, but for people who live in the area I'm in, the centre of Ashton-under-Lyne, there is no provision at all. None. They've done nothing. Nothing. And the thing is, if there is a demand, you see, Bob, then that's the case. They're denying there is a demand. With over 400 people waiting on the waiting list, they still denied this is a demand. Most people, what they've done to stop the numbers rising is remove the waiting list, so you can no longer now go on the waiting list for Ashton-under-Lyne. As far as they're concerned, the Ashton-under-Lyne allotments no longer exist. They never existed. This is the video footage I got when Tameside Metropolitan Council removed it from their website. After we'd had the action group, they went onto their website and removed it from their listings and tried to deny there was such a place. Local MPs and councillors on numerous occasions have tried to deny this. They've said that they've done reviews. They've told us they're getting reviews done. We know this has already took place years ago. They are lying, cheating, thieving scum. They should be arrested immediately by the authorities. They shouldn't be given bail. These people will flee. They will lie. They will cheat. They will bribe. And they will coerce lies. They will make up stories and they will soil your nature, your good character. These people will not stop anywhere. Even up to threats of death, murder. I do know that there are good people there who know far more about this than I do, who are actually under threat of death. This is why they're not speaking out, Bob. How serious can it get? How serious can it get?
Well, it's on every level. I mean, even from the allotment point of view, there's 400 people that would get a massive benefit from growing. There's also the amount of food that would be grown. I mean, it's got to be tens or hundreds of thousands of tons of produce that will be produced from that land. I mean, the benefit to the local community is massive. Without, the scam of extra jobs and all the rest of it, which is, of course, people having to slave away for somebody else. I mean, with a big allotment set up that could happen, the benefit to the local community is pretty much immeasurable, in my opinion.
Oh, excuse me, Bob. Muted microphone. I think I'd be used to that one by now.
Are you still off in the field?
Well, a lot of people have difficulty getting out of the financial world. They give most of the things that they do a financial value. So I'd ask all the, I'm not being sexist here, but I'd ask all the, I won't be sexist, let me get it right, all the housekeepers, all the people out there that actually buy their food each week. So if I told you now that I never had to buy any apples, pears, onions, any kind of brassica, cabbages, cauliflowers, never had to buy them, leeks, never had to buy, all the root vegetables, at least the common ones, carrots and turnip and swede and parsnips, never had to buy any of those, never had to buy any of my own eggs, never had to pay for them, no tomatoes, no grapes, alright, I did used to buy a few grapes, and I still bought a few strawberries, but for the majority of the time, 'cause I really like them, I didn't get up, my grapevines were old enough to produce the grape, and so, you get my point, okay? You take the cost now, and I've been losing that for the last 12 years. It's cost me. I've been losing that. You can take away the rent for the allotment. That's what Tameside Council owe me.
Yeah.
They owe me that as a minimum. You see, so I'm not asking them for the money. I might do actually. I mean, we're going to try and get Dave. Well, Dave said it. I volunteered to from Personal Navigation, Dave Matthews, to put in a claim now against Tameside Council. And anyone who is out there, I know Brian. I'll have a word with this because I know his daughter takes care of his affairs now, and I know she will do the same. She would do the same because I mean, and not only that, Brian kept birds. A vast amount of knowledge of all sorts of different birds. He taught me about even how to show a vegetable. This guy's done this for years and years and years. This knowledge needs to be passed on. We need to keep this. We need to move on with it. I look at certain situations where the currencies and the economical climate of countries have collapsed. The earliest one, or the most recent one, being in Russia, and the actual the homegrown. The people, that's how the people survived. Not the rich people, of course, but the everyday working class, and the majority of the people of the old USSR. So, yeah, they got through because they grow on their land. And that's
one of the best examples was Cuba, when the Russian USSR broke up, and Cuba lost all its funding, everything, and of course there was a blockade from the US around it, so it couldn't do anything about importing anything, and every single square meter of land everywhere was put over to vegetable production, and the people in Cuba are really healthy as a consequence. And because there was less going on in the way of importing everything, because Cuba, of course, is an island, that has been ploughed back into resources for the community, and they have one of the best health systems on the planet as a consequence.
Well, it's all coming there, isn't it? But I have just got a little text here that I did have to mention that the mud wrestling that was actually supposed to be on Sunday was actually held last night. And that was great fun, Bob, the mud wrestling. I mean, and anybody who didn't make, absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, a couple of the contestants were no-shows, who had been challenged in the mud wrestling pit. But yeah, we did actually have the ladies mud wrestling, Bob, and it was hilarious. It really was hilarious. So yeah, Stacey, and Sarah, and the Polish twins, brilliant girls. I have never known naked people. I've never seen something so funny in my life. It was brilliant, Bob. And anyone who didn't get there, you missed an absolute belter. Really was. Absolute belter. So yeah, I've forgotten that to mention that. My apologies. But yeah, that was kind of one of the... I'm still giggling about it. It makes me belly tighten up. You know, my stomach muscles tighten up just by thinking about it. It was hilarious, Bob. But of course it was quite dark, and we have got a bit of video, but you can't really make out a lot, which is a shame. Hey, I'm telling you, it's a shame. It was really funny. So yeah, we've done that. The Olympic veg thing that we're doing, you know, the square metre. You dig out a square metre and you plant it with potatoes. That's going to kick off tomorrow morning first thing. So yeah, you can do it in a team. You can do it in a team. You can do it singularly. You can't use any machinery. You can only use hand tools to do it. And that's, you got to dig out a square metre, clear a square metre, and plant it. And it's done on time. Of course, if an individual does it, you lose time. If there's two of you doing it, then that doubles your time. If there's four of you, that triples your time. So, sounds a bit weird, but this is how we work out how people can work together. Some people work together better on their own. Some people work better in groups. Some people, and so forth. Within the ideology of divergent thinking, and allowing people to excel in the positions where they are. And it's also a real good bit of fun as well. I just want to point out that the permaculture team within Darkcity are actually winning on the Olympic dig as well there. They have actually wiped everybody out since they've arrived on site. They really have. Like I say, and they also brought me cake, which is not... Hey, what can you say?
Well, it sounds to me like you're all having a really good time up there, and a bit envious being sat down here, really. I know what it's like to be in a field with a whole bunch of like-minded people, and it's just amazing, and it's just so good for your soul. It's just being able to communicate on the same level, in the same energy, and have a good laugh about it, and it's the way forward, without a doubt.
Well, we have had a few issues, Bob, I must admit. I've had to break up at least 4 hippie drum circles now, and at one point they nearly even broke into Come By Hard, Bob. I've got to draw my foot somewhere, And you know what they're like, these. I mean, as soon as you did that fire, they were getting drums out. They had drums out, they started playing drums. It was like, come on, stop it. This is not a hippie drum circle. But when you get these people together, Bob, they tend to form a circle and start beating on drums. Hey, couldn't be too bad.
Well, they are drums of intent.
Yeah,
this is something
didgeridoos.
I was discussing with Boris the other day, and he was talking about drumming your discontent, and actually, it's drumming of intent, and it is an extremely powerful thing. But you're right, there is a point where it becomes too much.
Well, it's just them hippies, It's just them hippies, man. You've got to watch out for them hippies forming them drum circles. So anyway, we have had a couple of drum circles. There has been a couple of drum circles. They've gone on, and the vibrational states were actually sent vast amounts with the implementation of our sonic blasting tool, the didgeridoo. So yeah, we've used that. And like I say, man, guitar being played, fire, people. I wouldn't say we're all like-minded, Bob. Very different bunch of people. Very different bunch of people from different walks of lives, backgrounds, areas, so a real diverse group of people. And you'd imagine that there'd be all sorts of arguments and there really isn't, Bob. I mean, I've had to do my mother in a little bit. I've had to turn on and go, hey, clean up behind you. This is the communal tent. Right, that doesn't mean, you communally tidy it up, but I think it happens on all kinds of things. But again, people have gone like, oh yeah, right, yeah, that's a bit, and click, we move along. For me, Bob, yeah, it's great to be around people who do actually turn up, they've got good intention, even some of them might not even know what their intention is, they're pure in that intention, to come together, and at least do something, at least even if it is form of a hippie drum circle, mate. Personally, I'd like to see the 100,000 people march over that hill, and we do it in a day. We could do it in a day. 1,000 people, we could do it in a day. We can march across it like an army, and that's how I'd like to see it. I'd like to really reenact the Diggers, Bob. I really would. I mean, we should claim back this land for use. For use, look, I'm not saying we plant everything or we all go and nick a bit of land in the countryside. I'm not. I'm saying we take back land and use it, because that's how they steal it intellectually. They say this land is not registered or not used by anyone. By anyone? What do you mean? It's ours. If you're born here, it's yours. You've got as much right to it as anyone else. And this intellectual bullshit has just got to stop. It really has got to be stamped out. Like I say, I really don't kind of see that they're going to do it themselves. They're not going to stamp themselves out. Why would they? When it's profitable, they're making lots and lots of money, and by the time it has a damaging impact on the environment where it threatens their health, well, they'll be dead by the time it gets there. So how does it concern them? They have the mentality of they really don't mind passing the burden on to their children. They really don't. So, I for one, in my own way, I am only one man. I do make a difference. I'm not saying I don't make a difference. I truly know. I know that we all make a difference every moment. But I don't make a bigger difference. But, as one man, I've decided it's time to make a choice. It's time to choose. That's what I've decided. And in doing so, that hopefully will take me from this position of demand that I've been coerced into by the so-called them. like I say, in my case, it's quite cut and dry. It's the local council. I don't want to be at war with them. I don't. I didn't declare war on them. I didn't capture the land. I didn't coercively steal it. I didn't deceive them. I created no loss, no harm, no deception. But they have attacked us, repeatedly attacked us. Now, yes, sometimes even physically. But for the majority of the time, it's been the paper assault, or just the passive-aggressive. You know, knowing there's an alternative to the lying, cheating scum ways, and refusing to take it. You know, they aren't ignorant people, Bob. They are willfully ignorant. And if you need an enemy, there they are. There they are. Well, before you project that at anyone, including your local cheating scum, cheese, the cheese makers. Before you do, you know, have a look in the mirror first. Have a know what your own intention is and know where you're coming from. Of course, that's just a bit of advice I give to myself. It's important for me, as I do move into a life of choice, out of the life of demand that I'm currently living, and that I'm aware where I'm coming from. That's really important. It's almost now like the ends are not justified by the means for me any longer. How I get there is more important than where I get.
Yeah, I totally agree with you about that as an advice. And the only way that you can effect any sort of change is by being positive in yourself and declaring war on people, or, you know, assuming that they're going to stop you in one way or another is a negative. And change doesn't come out of negative. It only comes out of positive. So, yeah, I'm right with you on that one. Look in the mirror, you know, be the positive.
Well, Bob, positive, yeah, you know me for a bit now, mate. You know, negative, positive. You know, I do stagnant and moving. You know, if it don't move, you know, give it a nudge. If it still don't move, then transmute it and turn it into something else. Grow something in it, because it's shit. You know, and that's how I kind of, you know, I discern between, you know, what works and what doesn't work for myself. I like motion, movement. So yeah, I don't really do the negative and positive, or the good or the bad, you know, the black or the white, or the good, you know, good or evil, or excuse me, light or dark. You know, they're there, I'm aware of them, but hey, it's all that. It's like all that. You know, they're supposed to be ringing you, Bob, aren't they, mate? You know, they're ringing you from the site. That's what they're going to do. But what's actually happened is, now we've actually come away, what they've done is they've formed a hippie drum circle, Bob. They'll be all sat around in a hippie drum circle now, playing hippie drums, singing Kumbaya. It's always alright, we'll get back up there in a bit. We'll go, alright, what are you doing? And they'll go, oh my god, we've all formed a drum circle. And then they'll all get on with doing the things again. So, yeah.
Well, whereabouts is it, Paul?
It's almost right on junction 23 of the M60, on the east of Manchester, Bob. There is a video up on YouTube, which has been cloned a couple of times now. I'm amazed at what people will do to try and stop a group of people. You know, like I say, there's no catch to this. It's like, just come there, do what you want. You know, really. Of course, the authorities, as they're known, because there is no authority on that piece of land, but the local authority, as they're known, they could come and bulldoze it and send in their henchmen at any moment. And we could actually lose everything we've put there. This has been put to us a few times. Well, I'll tell you, you can't take away what we've already got. You can't take away what we've already had. And whether they like it or not, for the last 3 years, there's been 750,000 square metres of common land beating away like some cosmic heart right in the centre of Britain. Yeah. Right on the eastern layer, they tell me, Bob. It lies right on the eastern layer, where the energy of the intention that is laid in from the east as it hits the sacred Mandelas around Manchester. I'm like, really? Really? Well, potatoes grow well there, then.
I would imagine they would. But yeah, it'd be great for anyone that's listening. I mean, if you can get up there tomorrow, please do, or even tonight. You know, get on it, do it. It sounds like it's a really amazing time there, and there's a whole bunch of stuff to learn as well, which is more important. But if you can have fun doing it, that's the way to go.
Quite a few people just come up there, wander about on that piece of land, find themselves and go away, Bob. I'm beginning to see that. It's not necessarily about digging the ground or anything else. I can't put my hands on it. I've walked around it with a few people and they can sense it. They can sense it. There's areas on it that are connected to the hedgerows, the ancient hedgerows, and even I can feel it, Bob. It's like, woo. And there's an area there, and today they were all collecting wood. You know, they were all collecting wood, and everybody walked up, not just one, but a few people had walked, and they'd made new paths. They'd actually made new paths through the overgrowth. And nobody had gone into these areas, Bob. There's areas where people had stopped and turned round and walked back, you know, because you could see the long grass now, downtrodden. And they walked all the way down the edge of it, and then turned right and walked right down the edge of it. It's just like they know not to. In other areas, they'd gone into it and pulled out stuff, but in that area, nature's just taking itself back again. And I got that from the permaculture. You know, there's hawthorn growing in that area and stuff. And we went in there before the spring and planted some bluebells, and that's where I went back to Shona Reese today, because that's where I said, look, this is the wild bit, if you like. It's only a little piece, but it is of the ancient hedgerows that survive. Connects just to the edge of the railway, you see. So the guys didn't come in and destroy it, you know, when they've done the work. It has survived. So, like a little bit of a sanctuary, I suppose. And, yeah, it is, man. It's there. Whether it's ancient, there's people better qualified to go down that path, you know, they really are. I mean, I've done the studies, and I know it, and, you know, like I say, I can feel that, Bob. I can feel that, you know, really can. But, you know, there's people out there know far more about this than I do, and they should come and tell me what is going down. They should tell us, you know, because they're trying to bury something here, man. They've tried to bury something right in the centre of the town, almost, you know. You've got to see it. People have, they're like, what? Oh, that's it. All of it? All of it? What, all of it? Yep. All of it. That's ridiculous. Nobody saw them doing it. They've actually got away with it in plain view, Bob.
Yeah, this is just beggars belief, it really does. But it's good to know that, you know, they're on a back leg about it. That there are people that do know what's been going on, that are doing something about it, and we got to take our hat off to people like you that are doing that. You know, it's a big thing. And I hope when I guess you're going straight back to the camp after this, and you know, please give everyone a hug from me when you get there, and I'll be thinking about you later on and sending good energy up to you.
Oh, then make sure it's incredibly good energy, Bob. I suggest, and it's only a suggestion, you flip that round, mate, the other way, and think of it and get ready to accept clean, pure energy. Clean, pure energy, bro. From free, common land. From common land. Let's drop the free. That means that's your bit, and it's as much yours as it is everybody else's. So get ready to feel it. There's a big moon tonight. We've just gone over the solstice. Big moon. Right, we can ride that wave, Bob. We can ride that wave. I said it a long time ago. I saw this rolling out across the country. Although it might have started here, it could go out. It could roll out. If you're out there and you can't get it, gather together with people around you. Gather together. They're doing this in your backyard as well. Come to Ashton Underline. Have a look at it. Just have a look at it. You don't have to join up with us. You don't have to be part of a group or anything. Please, just have a look. Sarah, hang on. Excuse me, Sarah's about to start cooking curry in the kitchen. So yeah, have a look at this big chunk of land here. Yeah, because they'll do it. They can get away with it here. They'll get away with it anywhere. This is where the road meets. No, the rubber meets the road. Chris Sparky put that one in there for me. This is where the rubber meets the road. So yeah, I get ready for a blast, man. That site up there is what it is. Not bullying up anybody. I'm not making this up. You know, it is there. You can go and see it. You can go and look at it. It's real. You can put your hands on it. It's right in front of you. No one is. It's not in the past. You know, you can't read history books on it. You know, it's not in the future. You don't have to project to get there. It's here now. It's real. We've got them banged to rights. We need to get 1,000 people on that hillside and plant right down the side of it illegal tip. You know, or whatever slogan you want to put down the side of it. You know, corruption. We've got to make a big enough statement to stop these thieving, cheating bags of scum. That's what they are. You know, I offered these people unconditional surrender, Bob. You've heard me, man. I mean, other people have offered them that, and you know, they're not interested. They don't want that. They want us to be in conflict. They want us to fight them because it's the only energy they get. Not anymore, Bob. Not anymore. They'll have to sort out their own energy from now on because they're not feeding on us any longer. One by one, we're all waking up to that fear factory, lowering our vibrational states, waiting for somebody else to come and solve the problem for us. It will never happen. Look at the evidence. It's there. On every level. Nobody's gonna come and sort it out for you. Nobody. No Grand Poopadook, no President, no El Presidente, no Prime Minister, you know, no Queen, no King, no God, no Prophet, no Messiah. No.
And no aliens.
Well, they're mine, actually. How's it? Turned out the extraterrestrial transdimensional beings are basically said, what? Come on, you what? You don't have to put up with this. Well, perhaps not.
I thoroughly enjoyed tonight's show, Paul, and thanks for updating us all on what's been going on. It's been really interesting, and yeah, just have a good time, everyone up there, and I hope that a few more people come and check it out tomorrow, and I'll certainly be sitting here feeling the energy coming this way. So thanks to you, and thanks to everyone else that's been listening too. I hope you had a good one. I hope you have a good week, and we shall be back next week, all being well. Have a good one.
Yeah, and plant some shit. You'll enjoy it.